Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today, I've got my Warden PVP bomber for the Elder Scrolls Online. I've been asked a lot of questions about this one. What do I use? How do I run it? Why do I do it the way I do? And I'm going to try to break it all down as simple as I can for all of you. So, let's start off with the basics. We're going to run a Khajiit, best in slot for a solo bomber. Khajiit has the best passives. This is the reason every single bomber video you see, 9 out of 10 of them realistically are running Khajiit. Now for our attributes, we need to keep our health below 30k, and I'll get to that in a little bit. So for now we run 49 into Magicka and 15 into health. We're going to be Vampire Stage 2. You can go Stage 3 for Undeath as well, but my Stage 3 fell off while I was in preparation to record. Ideally, you want to be Stage 3. Mundus Stone is the Shadow. Especially when you're playing Khajiit, there's nothing that beats the Shadow. Now, if you're not playing Khajiit, you could use the Lover or you could use the Warrior retrospectively. But if you can play a Khajiit and you want to min-max your damage, you are going to go with the Shadow every time. Next, let's get into the gear. This gear doesn't change much from my bombers. This is the standard for cleave bombing as it has been for about 2 years now. I'm running 2 medium, 5 light. We use 2 pieces of Balorgh. You want all your body armor to be divines, ideally with max Magicka enchantments. I do have 2 tri-stats on my Balorgh. This is just how I took it out of the bank. You could run max Magicka on here and you'll be just fine as well. For our jewelry, 3 Dark Convergence. You can run either the Mage damage or the Stam. You're just going to get a little extra recovery one way or the other. Master's Battle Axe. Ideally, you want the perfected version. It's going to give you 1,000 more penetration. I'm running Precise. You can also run Nirnhound or Sharpened. I like Precise. For some reason, it just feels better to me. We're going to have a Disease Health Enchantment, or Decrease Health Enchantment, Oblivion Damage. If you don't want to use this, go ahead and use the Berserker Enchant, the Weapon and Spell Damage glyph. Back bar, this is our Dark Convergence Ice Staff. I prefer this. If you're going to heavy attack, you'll get your resources back, and you'll also get a damage shield. If you don't want to use the Ice Staff, use a Resto Staff. I have it in defending with Absorb Magicka enchant, helps my sustain, but it doesn't really matter what enchantment you run here. Next, let's hop into the skills. First, we're going to start with our front bar and Brawler. Brawler from two-handed, Cleave Bomber. The more people you get in your pull, the harder this is going to hit, and it's going to give you a damage shield, so you don't die immediately like some sort of nerd. Bird of Prey, Minor Berserk passive. As long as you have this, it's really important. You get 5% more damage. Deep Fissure, otherwise known as Shocks. This skill is so powerful. It is the reason why Warden Bomber is on top. This is the skill, the reason you see ball groups run Warden DPS. Not only are you getting Major and Minor Breach, which is basically about 9,000 penetration, the damage on this skill when you are buffed up and you have your Balorgh, it's insane. I have hit crits so high, you think I was a Nightblade with a spec bow. Camo Hunter, we have it here as a passive for the Major Savagery and Prophecy. Let's get our critical up, and the Major Berserk, or Minor Berserk, we already have from Bird of Prey. Blue Betty, otherwise known as the Netch. Extra Magicka Sustain, or you could go with the extra Stam Sustain. It's also a cleanse. and if it doesn't remove anything from you, you get an extra 5% damage. When you're running in to do a bomb, you're likely going to have something on you if somebody finds you, but if not, extra damage, and it's your major brutality and sorcery. Major buff you need to have, very strong. Dawnbreaker. Normally, I don't actively use Dawnbreaker when I'm bombing. It's a very strong skill, and don't get me wrong, it can be used on a Warden bomber with great success. Your highest burst combination is going to be Shocks, Proxy, your pull, and then a Dawnbreaker. But I have an optional way of running my bomber that you see in a lot of my clips and my videos that I'm going to talk about very shortly. Head to the back bar. We have Channel Acceleration. This is Major Expedition. Being fast is being cool. And Minor Force, a crit buff for 1 whole minute. Doing more damage is also very cool. Scalding Ruin, this is our pull. Ideally, you can go with other things such as Caltrops here, or you can go back into the Warden and get Winter's Revenge for a pull. Now, these don't do as much damage, where the Scalding Rune also does a bit of burst damage, but it's your choice to pull with whatever you want. I like having the most burst damage I possibly can, because I like watching groups go boom. Ice Fortress, this is our major resolve, and it also gives us minor protection. Very strong defensive skill, lasts a good 30 seconds. You pop it on and you forget. Proximity Detonation, comboed with our Shocks, you do a ton of AoE damage. And if you can get people in your pull, this will scale up. Your Shocks will hit them super hard, and they just get AoE nuked, and there's nothing they can do about it. Healing Burst, the same one I use on Necromancer, another one that I've been using on all my PvP bomb builds at this point. It does a decent amount of healing. It can affect you every single time. You never have to worry about the heal randomly targeting some 19k health bullshit that can't hit anyone. Anyway, you get a small AoE heal, and you get minor courage. You get 215 weapon and spell damage every time you hit this skill. So not only does it heal you, it also buffs your damage. If you don't have scribing, go ahead and use Polar Wind. You can see right here on buff, the tooltips aren't even that, far apart. But the heal over time on Polar Wind is going to be much stronger. And once you get fully buffed, the burst heal of Polar Wind is also a little bit stronger. But you sacrifice a little bit stronger healing for getting another damage buff. And with how much damage you can stack on Warden, you absolutely just nuke people. Northern Storm. Now this is what I was talking about before. We need the Piercing Cold passive. The Piercing Cold passive we find down here. As long as we stay below 30,000 health, any frost damage is going to give us 8% more damage done. So, this is why we use Northern Storm. And not only for that 8% more damage, it's also going to give us more weapon and spell damage. It's also, on top of that, going to give us major protection for another 10% damage reduction. And it does a fair amount of damage on its own. Ideally, we don't really care about the snare because the targets are going to be pulled into the bomb anyway. But it does help them not escape, I guess. So, having this Piercing Cold passive, you always want something to be able to proc it. If you're not going to use the Scalding Rune for a pull, and you want the maximum burst damage possible, I would probably use Winter's Revenge and then use Dawnbreaker for your ult. Next, let's get into the champion points. Green Tree here, I say it never matters for PvP. Just have your speed buffs. Ideally, you could throw on something like Sustaining Shadows if you really want to sneak around. Our blue tree, occult overload. Now when we're bombing with all that ice damage possible, the fire damage from your scalding ruin, or the magic damage, or physical damage, these can all proc status effects. And if an enemy dies while they have a status effect on them, they're not only going to explode with vicious death, they're going to explode with occult overload, which increases the AoE damage your bomb does. This is just crazily strong even after it's been nerfed a long time ago. I still use it on every bomber build I run. Fighting Aura, bigger AoE damage, bigger numbers, happier bomber. Same thing with Master at Arms. Fighting Finesse, we are a Khajiit, so we stack our crit damage. Even if you're not playing a Khajiit, I would still probably grab this. Red Tree, Boundless Vitality. Remember, we still want to stay under 30,000 health, but getting as close to it without getting over is also good. Rejuvenation, this is your flex spot. I felt like I needed an extra little bit of recovery, so I put this on. You could realistically go with whatever you want in the slot. Celerity, faster you move, the cooler you are. Bastion, everybody and their brother has a ridiculously strong damage shield. I don't care. 15% more damage done to those damage shields, you blow up those players. Last but not least, I actually want to get into the rotation of this build because it's a lot more finicky than other bomber builds. But for the damage output that it can do, this is why we need to talk about it. So first, we're going to buff up, same as any standard build. We get all our buffs going. Then we want to hit shocks, backbar, proxy. Then you can see right here, 3 and 2. As soon as you can get these timers to be very close to each other, the stronger your bomb gets. So ideally, let's try to do that a little bit better. And you can see right here, look how close these timers are together. Look right here. They explode at the exact same time. If you can continue to do that, and you combo that with the rest of your damage that you should have, say they're going off at the same time, we're going to pull around 2. There will be a pull, you would ult on this, and anything that was in there should die. And if it didn't die, that's when you cleave it. Now ideally, you should probably cleave before it dies, just to make sure your point gets across, but you get what I'm going at. This is the strongest bomber I've probably ever run. I definitely say it's a bit stronger than Nightblade even, but the difference between Nightblade bomber or a Necromancer bomber and a Warden is that the Necromancer and Nightblades are more consistent. Now, if you really get good at the Khajiit, you'll see a bit of consistency, but you're never going to get out or survive the way a Necro or a Nightblade will as bomber. But with that said, I don't think there's any other build in ESO currently, before subclassing comes around, that can do a higher AoE burst other than this Bomber Warden build right here. With all this said, if you like the build, drop a like on the video. If you got any questions, drop them below in the comments. And as always, I will see you in the next video.